we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means, on infiltration instead of invasion, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. There is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it.
All right, welcome to episode 127 of The Abuse Hour. It is I, your host, Coffee Long, coming to you unsupervised, unmedicated, and an unchecked threat to society. Yeah, so, all right, let's take another whack at it here, man. I cannot believe, I don't know, you ever do stupid things and you can't believe that, like, I'm doing stupid things again? Like, doing stupid things has become a way of life sometimes, man. But, yeah, dude, I was driving. I had to go do some stuff I was doing. And so I talked to myself basically for an hour. I thought I recorded like an hour and change episode, and I get there and I'm like, what the hell? So part of the gig here is that, like part of the gag is I am generally, for the most part, tech retarded. But I do have it worked out where, like, I can record into my computer, or, you know, then I horsed around with it a little bit, and then I got it where I can record into a tablet, and I find out, like, okay, well, if I can record into a tablet, then I can record into a phone. So I got, like, a halfway decent microphone setup that I could use in a car or, you know, at the pad. But got a halfway decent microphone situation, and I can hook it straight to my phone, which is great and convenient, you know, like if you're in the car. But then the trouble starts, like most of the time, if somebody just texts, I can just like blip and it'll go away and it won't do anything to the recording. But if somebody calls, like some Hindu calls to tell me that he's from the IRS or you must make a payment immediately or there will be consequences, then suddenly I got to contend and like, no, I'll just get pissed off and hit like go away. But I'll forget sometimes that you got to go back and reset the microphone thing. And then I just keep talking wherever I was talking last. Not a big deal. But this last time, some pinhead called me, some guy had texted me, and it like this time instead it just stopped, like it stopped recording. So I was like, I just keep on talking, man. And like called me or texted me right at the beginning when I start recording. So I just like ignore and just keep on talking. And an hour later, I look and I'm like, oh God, nothing's happening. Why does it say like 2 minutes? It's not cool, man. It's not cool at all. But just as well, because I think if I talk about, you know, go over some of the things I went over last time, because it was, you know, it's not all just Mr. Current Events up in here. I think there's a lot of things that need to get discussed that, you know, whether it's current events or not, like current events are just kind of serve to drive the point home. So, I don't know, man. I don't really have like a string of things I wanted to talk about. It's almost like everything's like connected, bro. Bro, it's connected. So I guess the only thing that's not, well, I mean, it is. Once again, it is, I guess you'd say, connected. Like the thing that's caught my interest of late is this business, this talk of, you know, states and counties and cities. If you want access to any of these federal emergency funds, then you got to be like, not just, you know, you can't just say, I'm not currently boycotting Israel. It sounds like you got to be in a position that says, I have never boycotted Israel. I've never called for anyone to impose sanctions or to boycott Israel, and I never will. I'm not currently doing it. I never will do it. Probably you got to sign off on some kind of thing. I think I remember seeing somewhere a little while back that there were places where, like, to get a state or a city job, like, you actually have to sign off on a thing saying, like, no, I won't ever. I'll promise to never boycott Israel because they're my greatest friend in the whole world. I mean, it goes without saying. Like, tell me you're owned, man. Just tell me you're owned. Tell me that you live in a vassal state, that you live in a bitch of a country that is owned by somebody else. And, you know, I guess I've been to enough third world places where it's like, you know, these people know where they stand a lot of times. And it's like, yeah, dude, you're somebody else's bitch. And it is what it is sometimes, man. There's not especially any shame in that. You know, you go to some place like the Philippines, it is what it is. And it sucks to be somebody else's bitch, and they're kind of always in this state of flux of who do I side with, you know, the Chinese or the Americans, or who's going to pay me the most or who's going to help me the most. But whatever you do, you got to make sure you don't piss them off. All right, that's well and good. But, you know, there's the other side of the third world thing where, like, things aren't so uptight. You don't completely pay all your taxes. Maybe, I don't know, somebody fucks with you. The police come after you, man. It's your cousin Rodrigo, and you can just give to him a couple of dollars, and it would be okay. So, there's like it's kind of a little of each side. But here, it's like we have the worst of all possible worlds where you're alleged to be like the land of the free and the almighty greatest country on earth. Oh my goodness, oh my gracious. But then all the money that you're absolutely forced at gunpoint to pay down to the fucking nickel, where they're coming to you over like, hey, did you get any tips? Like, did you trade anybody for, like, did you mow his lawn and he fixed your car? Because we want to assess, like, how much was that lawn mowing, worth? Because you could owe, right? And then they're going to have Dr. Pajit Street shit calling you, talking about, you must pay, sir, pay right away, come pay with Amazon gift cards. I wouldn't be surprised if they did come up with something like that. Like, pretty soon, like, okay, you don't, if you mow somebody's lawn in exchange for an oil change, then, we want to tax that lawn mowing. But in the same way, maybe we work a little trade here where, like, you don't have money. I understand. That's fine. You don't have money, but you can mow our lawn. Like, bring your mower in your ass and you come and mow the lawn outside some Jew's house, that's in Congress because he needs it. He can't be there to do it. He's making decisions about how to spend your money in Gaza. So you bring your ass, bring your mower. Make sure you get around the edges. Don't disturb his wife when she's outside trying to take a little sun. It's so hot. Oh, God. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised a bit, man, if they start taxing. What would you call that? Like taxing in kind or taxing in trade or taxing by a little elbow grease there, Goy. Like, let's make an effort. Show me a little something. Show me the fiber of your fabric. Fuck, I hate them, dude, so much. Anyway, yeah, so that's the thing that kind of got my attention this week. But like what I was talking about in the mystery episode, the episode that's vanished into the ether, the episode that is the bolt that you dropped into the engine and it's fallen and it's gone and you'll never see it again, no matter what you do or how you do it. What I was talking about there though was kind of the way a lot of these things are fitting together, man, and some of the. I don't know. How can you say, man? Like, even since I recorded that, like, a few things have come up, a few things that I've seen. A lot of shit has come to light, man. But if a few things have kind of really gotten my attention, so kind of just stop fucking around and just get sort of to the point, I guess. What kind of got the ball rolling on this thing for me was once in a while I'll listen to a little bit of the Nick Fuentes, and I don't know, I don't know the dude's whole story or his whole situation or any of the drama surrounding this dude. I know a little bit about him, and I do listen to some of his takes. Some of his takes are pretty fucking hot, but some of his takes are broke as fuck. Generally, I think his takes surrounding women. I heard him give one little perspective that, like, oh, dealing with women is easy, and I'm like, okay, tell me you've never talked to a woman in your whole fucking life, bro. There is no such thing as easy dealing with women. If they're like drunk and uninterested, that's the only time they're easy to deal with. And even then, it's like they could be uninterested and or if they're drunk, they might go 0 to 60, 0 to 500 in like 2 seconds and throw something at your skull. So no, dealing with women, no, not ever easy. Like, the opinion they have now might be a very different opinion 30 seconds from now. So it's no, I don't know what page you're on. I don't know what women you're talking to. Are you talking to your own mother? Because that's maybe then. But even then, it's sketchy business. Your own sister? I don't know. Ben Shapiro's sister? We ain't talking. Not going to talk. That's what's happening. Anyway, so the rest of his takes, though, some decent takes, some good white respecter takes. As far as the drama as to whether the dude is a homosexual, I couldn't say, dude. I had heard rumors and speculation. Still, on the other hand, if a guy gets labeled as white supremacist, you could see where a guy might have some issues linking up. Still, I mean, I've seen some of the dudes in our thing, and there are some boxy gentlemen still managing, still making their way, having a little self-respect. It's out there if you want it. Don't come to me with this thing. You know what it actually reminds me of? I watched, dude, it had to be, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago or something. I saw this, what was it, ESPN, I want to say, thing, like one of them 30 for 30 deals. And it was a deal about some Islander football player kid. And apparently, like, there's a lot of Islander types that end up playing sports ball. But this Islander kid that is playing the sports ball, he ends up going to Notre Dame to play sports ball. And while he's there, he starts up some, I'm not sure how it happened exactly, like online or via the telephone, starts talking to some, what he thinks is some girl. And like the profile picture of this girl is like, yeah, she's good looking. But I mean, a fucking halfway alert 12-year-old knows at this point that, like, yeah, the picture that you see right there, it's probably some Indian dude. It's not that hot girl. Hot girls don't have to get on the interwebs to meet people. They don't have to phone people to meet people. They walk outside. You want to go meet some man, you just go someplace. You want a guy who owns a boat, go to a yacht club. Some guy will take you out on his yacht. That's hot girl life. You don't have that, dude. So if you're talking to some girl online, that's not no girl, dude. Stop it. Unless it's some girl you knew from somewhere else, or she's into autistic shut-ins, and that's how this all works out. But that doesn't happen that way. It's not in the cards. So quit it. Anyway, I digress. So this guy, I can't remember his name, is like man who fall off a sofa or some shit. Whatever Islander fucking name. So he ends up talking to this girl, and it becomes like his thing, like that's his girlfriend, and everybody, that he played with, like their understanding was like, yeah, he's got some girl from back home or something. But it wasn't from back home. It's from back nowhere. It's just some chick on the phone. And then, that was, for my money, that was like his excuse for like, yeah, you're at college, dude. You're at college with lots of, especially somewheres like Notre Dame, a higher end joint, lots of young available women with money to burn, all right? Like, these women aren't out there, like, hustling 2 or 3 jobs so they can get through nursing school or some kind of thing. They're on daddy's dime. They're on some scholarship tip. They're not worrying about nothing. They're living the good life, and they're out here ready to go. And now here's you, oh, no, it's okay, bro, because I have a girlfriend, and we only talk online. Fucking whatever. So it comes out later, like, I'm beating the shit out of this story, but it comes out later that, like, this bunny ear's girlfriend was actually this giant gay Samoan dude. And I don't know where it was. Like, I want to say, like, Samoa, maybe, I guess. And it's like some giant Samoan dude that talks like a girl. And this guy has been, who the fuck knows what this guy has been up to, doing what kind of shiesty 1-900 work with this giant Samoan dude giving him girly girl talk. So this shit comes out, and I guess the reason this came out was like, for whatever reason, this dude decided that this had gone on long enough. So this giant Samoan dude, for whatever reason, decides that he's going to break it off with sports baller dude, because I don't know, he's like getting ready to graduate or go to the draft or whatever. Apparently he was pretty good. I don't know. But decides he's going to break it off. So instead of just saying, like, you know what, I met someone, or I'm just tired of the phone thing, or whatever, like, the whole time he was in college, he'd never, put together some kind of trip of like, hey, I'll come out to wherever and see you, whatever, never worked out. And the giant gay Samoan dude just decided that, no, instead my story is going to be that, like, I have cancer and I'm dying. So he calls the guy with this story. Oh, sir, I'm dying. How the fuck? I don't know how Islanders talk. Islander bro. Yes, bro, I am dying. I'm going to be dead soon. Oh, I am on my deathbed. So, I don't know. There was some other component of this where, like, the gay had like fake brothers or something, and then one of the fake brothers was actually the gay talking like in his man voice. The way like a tranny does when they finally decide they've had enough shit and now they want to go back to being a dude and fight you. Like, no, you can't use this restroom. Oh, why can't I use the restroom, sir? Because you're a dude. I'm not a dude. Get the fuck out. All right, look, motherfucker. And now they're all fired up. So this dude, this giant gay dude, was calling this guy, said, oh, yes, I am his brother, and or her brother, whatever, and she's dying, and oh, no. So it was this big thing, and now I guess, I don't remember what year it was, whatever, it was some year that Notre Dame went to some bowl game or other, and it became a big thing where, like, man who fall off a sofa, his girlfriend is dying of cancer, and he's going to dedicate this game to her. And, oh, sir, I have to get out here. I have to make the big tackle. And it was on the news and all this shit. And it had like a picture of his little fake fuck girlfriend. And so now like the shit gets weirder because the picture that this giant gay was using was some girl, like some girl from, I want to say like Stanford or something. Like the dude just went online and found some good looking Islander looking girl and just used that. And like, that's me. That's me now. And would like, I don't know, like take her pictures and like repost them as like, this is my shit. Like, here's me and my friends and my bros and we're to the beach, you know, whatever Islanders fucking do. Eating coconuts, I don't fucking know. But they're like, yeah, it's me. And so they put this picture on TV and it's some girl in real life. And her friends are like, hey, how come you're on TV? And they freak the fuck out. So this whole thing fucking falls apart. But now they go and interview this dude. And they're like, well, you never thought this was a dude? It never occurred to you? He's like, no, I didn't know. Like, because you never went and met her. And like the whole time. And then people started asking like, you had to know, and you're trying to tell me like you maintained this weird relationship for like 4 years this whole time, and it never occurred to you to like maybe having some girl that you don't actually see ever as your girlfriend is not really a reasonable person's relationship. And are you gay? And they start asking me. He's like, oh no way, bro. Trust me, bro. Yeah, okay, yeah, source, trust me, bro. But yeah, the Nick Fuentes thing, it kind of makes me think the same thing. Like, I mean, you're famous, dude. You're famous, and you might not be swimming in money, but you're well known, and you probably got a lot more money than a lot of dudes that are at least out there meeting and marrying and wifing up and cranking out kids. You know, a lot of guys out there are getting by. They're fucking getting by. So what's your excuse, friendo? And as much as you want to talk about like, you know, oh, the white race and we got to do this and that and save America, America first and this shit. Okay, put your money where your gay mouth is. But again, I jump to conclusions because I don't know that for sure. He might just be a little bit of an autist or a little bit of a shut-in. I don't know any of this shit for sure. I'm just speculating. So I got to try to, you know, think of it like if the guy was standing here in front of me, like, would you say this shit? I would, you know, I wouldn't come right out and accuse a guy of like, I think you're a faggot. Like, I'm not going to say that because I don't know that. But if the dude was here, I would say like, okay, man, you got time to crank out 2 or 3 hours a day. You got time to put an hour into meeting some woman. Let's go. Let's fucking go here, friend. And two, you know, the guy is 26, and I guess there ain't a big fucking rush. But the way that things are going, I mean, I do remember when I was in still, and I mean, dude, it was actually after I had retired, and I went back to work as an instructor for a little while. And there were young guys, and I was breaking guys' balls. I was like, hey, fuck sticks, you know, like this is a job where motherfuckers get dead quick. So I know some of you are married and you don't have kids. So let's get with the fucking program. Yeah, the world needs hitters. Need to expand the fucking empire here. Let's get cracking. And one dude I remember, like, and this motherfucker was like, he was this Irish dude, kind of like light red hair, like Irish looking Irish motherfucker, like jacked dude, really took good care of himself. And he was like, yeah, no, I hear you, bro, man. And I got a wife, and I'm telling you what, man, as soon as I get a chance, I'm gonna put my back into it. I promise you. And I was like, all right, good, man, good work. And then the guy fucking burned in on a parachute jump, man, not a year later. It was a fucking bummer. Never had a kid. Sucks, dude. Met his folks. His folks were fucking devastated. And it's complete ass, man. You put that kind of time into serving fucking Israel, and instead of a kid, you get nothing, dude. You get your picture on the wall. Fucking sucks. Anyway, Jesus, rabbit hole for the ages. Anyway, so the thing that it got me going the other day was I see some of this shit with Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens talking about Nick Fuentes, long and short. And kind of their take was kind of mind blowing. Their take was basically like, this guy is controlled opposition. This guy is just out here to steer you off into the weeds, to make you hate on people who are actually on your side, to pick apart people who are actually making good points. And their example here was Dave Smith. So if you don't know, Dave Smith is like this Jewish comedian dude, and he's taken up some anti-Israel positions, which, again, well and good, but let's not get fucking mistaken. This dude is Jewish. He can say what he wants. They're not going to come and crush him. They're not going to debank him. They're not going to call his job and say, hey, make sure this motherfucker never works another day in his life. Maybe somebody has like a backroom talk with him, but they'll never come out in front of you Yeah? And say like, hey, motherfucker, this guy is not cool with us. Unless he does something like Madoff where he rips off his own people, they're not going to ever come out in front of you and say anything about it. So they're talking about this guy. And then my other question, I guess, was like, why do I need a Hebrew to speak for me? Motherfucker, like you're in my country. It was founded by people like me, for people like me, but now I got you and I'm supposed to just go, oh no, he can speak for me. No, man, I don't need to say anything. He's got it. He's good. You're not good. I'm not cool with that. But so Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson are going on about this shit. And, you know, if I had seen that maybe 6 months ago, I would think like, well, the colored girl has been making some good points lately. And Tucker, he got shit canned off Fox News basically for quoting the Daily Stormer on a daily basis. I mean, I don't know if you remember any of that shit, but I mean, that guy was pulling direct. Like, and probably in fairness, not him personally. I think it was credited to one of his people, one of his writers or whatever. But this dude was pulling like directly from Daily Stormer. Like I used to read Daily Stormer like a lot because he did put out like a lot of decent shit like on the Daily. It's good material, and he still writes really well. I don't know what he's got going, but I think, you know, getting hammered the way he did, I think it put the zap on his head a little bit. But yeah, Tucker Carlson had a guy pulling direct from Daily Stormer, and he was out there talking it up on Fox News, and he got shit canned shortly after that. Now he's at, you know, some fake fuck log cabin in Maine, you know, posting with his flannel shirt, and you're like, oh, he's a regular guy, just like me. Look at him. Oh, he's really done well for himself. Wow, maybe I could do that too. Fucking spoiler, dude, you can't, because when you move ahead a few months, you know, flash forward 6 months or so, and now you got, you know, again, the same picture. You got your Candace Owens and your Tucker Carlson. Well, you want to say like, yeah, they're doing well because they put out good product. They have respectable takes. They have, I guess, what you could say passes as researched positions. But when you look a little closer, man, like Tucker Carlson, like you want to talk about controlled opposition. Like this guy is fucking DC's man with a microphone. And I did listen to a take from Nick Fuentes the other day on this guy that because, you know, Tucker Carlson essentially fucked up and called him out as like, this guy's controlled opposition. He's probably getting paid through somewhere to say the things that he says. He went right up his ass with a microscope, man. And, came out with a whole bunch of shit of like, here's a picture of Tucker Carlson with his dad and some friend of his dad's. They're out there in them fucking circa late 80s, early 90s fishing vest, obvious agency guy fucking get-ups. Two of them I think are holding an MP5. Two of them each are holding an MP5. Like they're not both holding the same fucking gun. That would be stupid. And then Tucker Carlson is standing there with an AK. And I guess it's like day with daddy at the range type shit. But it's like, don't tell me that you went out here and you had no idea what your dad was involved in. Like, what the fuck did you think? Like, don't tell me fucking State Department. Like, yeah, I'm a mechanic for the Bluebird Bus Agency. I work for the Ace Tomato Company. Get the fuck out of here. It's not in the cards. You fucking knew. And then I think he had said something, he had some piece of an earlier interview where he said, like, he knew, he was aware that his dad was a CIA guy. So his dad apparently then ran Radio America, Radio Free America, whatever the fuck it's called. That's basically American propaganda that got pumped out through Eastern Europe. So this was, I guess, early 80s then. Early 80s, mid 80s when his dad was in charge of this shit. So, like, work with me here. You know, you knew your dad was a fucking agency guy. You are not some fucking schnook off the street. You come from fucking money. You somehow step straight into a broadcasting gig. But now you're supposed to, like, I'm supposed to believe, the rest of us are supposed to believe that, like, yeah, man, I just pulled myself up by my bootstraps. Like, I just got out there, man. I shilled some opinions. I put on a flannel shirt, set up a studio in my fucking log cabin in Maine, and now I'm giving you, like, no shit, honest to God takes. No, dude. And then you're having a conversation with who? Fucking Candace Owens? We already know that she was some chick that started off at some modeling agency, got picked up to be a spokeshore, and then married into money. And I don't know exactly the details of that, but I know she married into a shit ton of money with some dude that she didn't know all that well. So, yeah, and I mean, you could say, like, oh, yeah, they got to know each other really well, and they just really synced up. But, dude, what the fuck ever, man? I don't care. Long and short, man, these two motherfuckers, these two clown dicks, are going to give a fucking take on anybody. So looking at Nick Fuentes, man, whether the dude is a stone cold faggot, like, that ain't even the issue, man. Like, his situation, as I understand it, was a dude who went to Boston, got into the political scene, started talking, and by the time the dude was done with college, he was already a big enough name to be completely deplatformed, completely debanked, and absolutely unfucking welcome at any conservative, like, organized, like, literal, you know, like, legit fucking Republican type piece of shit conservative rally like that, you know, the Charlie Kirk type shit. Like, would not let him in the fucking building. So looking at, like, you know, whether the guy is a total fucking queer or not, none of that shit matters, dude. Because one, the guy does have some solid takes, and until I know for sure that he's a fag, I'm not going to say that, like, oh no, fuck this guy. Because if it came out tomorrow, like, yeah, he's totally gay, I'd be like, great, you can be right about all this other shit, but be right over there. Because this is like fucking, it's a no-go, dude. You can't work that shit in here. It doesn't fucking fit here. So you could say you're pro-white, you could say you're pro-America. Cool, man, say it, but say it over there. But until then, until I know that, I can only look at it and say, yeah, the guy has good takes. That's all I know for sure. So here's a guy that has some good takes, and now here's this absolute silver spoon, 0 persons removed from the agency, working in the same capacity that his father worked in. Like, what are the odds, right? You think they're not whispering in that guy's ear? Bet your fucking ass they are. And then you got Candace Owens, professional spokeshore, and they're going to give takes on this guy. And when you look at what their complaints are, like, what do you not like about Nick Fuentes? Well, one, he's mean to my Jew friend, Dave Smith. And Smith, really? That's your name? Because I am willing to bet that guy originally had some kind of a green or a Berg or a ski or a Stein or a Witz or some kind of a thing that was attached to his name before he changed it to Smith. I don't believe it for a fucking second. So, yeah, he was mean to my friend Dave Smith. You know, and it's not that he's so wrong, you know, but, like, Dave Smith is critical of Israel. Dude, Israel is not the fucking problem. The problem is these coin clippers, okay? Because there was no Israel. You know, when Martin Luther was writing about the Jews and their lies, there was no Israel. When whoever that other guy was in the fucking 1800s writing about the American Jew story of his career. There was no Israel when these people were getting kicked out of England and Spain and France and most of Europe at some point or another, some places multiple times. All right. There was no Israel when the Tsar was like, you know what? I think I know who's causing the problems around here. It's these motherfuckers. Okay. Israel is not the problem. So to say, like, oh, he has mean takes on Israel, good, great, terrific. Congratulations for him. But that's not what we're talking about here. But so, yeah, they get at this thing, and the Tucker and the Candace are running on about how this Nick Fuentes is, you know, nothing about his points, nothing about what he's saying. All they're getting into is, yeah, but you're mean to this Jewish dude. And plus you were rude, and you came on to my show, and you were mean to me, and this kind of shit. And then there's fucking Tucker doing, and I'll tell you what, man, like, his performance on this thing, like, there's a few times where I've been kind of back and forth on the Tucker one, you know, where I'm kind of like, I don't know, maybe he's all right. Maybe he's, you know, maybe he's just walking the tightrope. You know, he's cutting it real smooth. And, you know, he just hasn't gotten zapped yet or fucking nuked, or he got fucking nuked from orbit out of Fox. But now, you know, he's doing a little more, you know, with some kind of shit, some kind of cope, you know. But after seeing this thing and listening to this guy talk about, like, oh, he doesn't even know who Nick Fuentes is. And one, I'm going to say that that's bullshit because, like, you obviously know who Andrew Anglin is, because I'm sure when he got shit canned, that was a topic of discussion. Like, hey, motherfucker, like, we found either you or one of your people was pulling direct from the Daily Stormer, so you're under the fucking bus. And so to say that, like, oh no, I have no idea who Nick Fuentes is, like, this is dishonest, all right? But then the idea here that they start in with this thing with, like, oh, he's just some gay kid in a fucking basement in Chicago, and I don't even know who he is, and he's attacking me the way that Tucker does, like he's just flabbergasted, and I don't know what's going on. And, you know, you hear him do that shit for years and years, and he's very convincing, you know, but you hear him do it for years and years, and now you hear him do it again, and it's like, you motherfucker, like, I don't believe you for a fucking second. You are full of shit. So standing there talking about, oh yeah, I had no idea that my father was in the CIA. I didn't know that. I would never, you know, I don't know anything about that. And then these interviews come out, we're like, oh yeah, I knew that shit. Yeah, I knew what was going on. So, like, long and short, one, you're full of shit. Two, I couldn't completely put my finger on what it was that rubbed me the wrong way about these motherfuckers so much. Because, I mean, you know, we could talk, you know, if I watch some Hebrew production, like some straight Hebrew talking thing, I mean, I'm going to be irritated and like, well, this is bullshit. Like, this is obviously nonsense. But I'm not going to get quite as spun up. It's not going to rub me quite the wrong way. And these fuckers really spun me up, and I couldn't quite figure out why until about a day later. Because about a day later, I was on the gram fucking around, as you do, and like really, I'm to the point of like I almost get no news from regular news sites. I get everything off social media, and then a few oddball odds and ends type sites, like some Arabic news sites, some Russian news sites. And then a few odds and ends type sites. That's, you know, I'll pull from these things and then figure out what's going on, because trying to go to like the straight news is like, this is just lies. You're just fucking lying to me. So anyway, I'm on the gram fucking around, and there was some post, like just some nonsense throwaway post by some woman talking about like, yeah, I'm going to invite this guy over, or some shit like I invited some guy over for like a second date and asked him to help her install a paper towel rack. And he's like, nah, I'm good. And it was all these women just going fucking berserk in the comments of like, see that? Modern men are their shit. They can't do anything. Oh, yeah, real fucking handy now. And he expects to catch some kind of a decent woman? Come on, what's it going to take you? Half an hour, big guy? You can't spare half an hour? And I mean, it's like the post is it's shit anyway. Who gives a fuck? Like, did this even ever happen? Who knows? Who cares? Is it some fat woman that thought like bumping into some guy that she'd seen a few times at a coffee place counted as a first date, and now she's gonna jock him for like, hey, why don't you come over and do some manual labor for me? I don't know. Any of these things are possible. It could have been some blazing hot woman. It could have been some blazing hot woman that put out like a champ, gave this guy some kind of porn star ass on the first date, and now calls and asks for nothing more than a little paper towel action. Could have been any of this shit. I have no idea. I don't actually give a fuck. It changes nothing for me. Like, bottom line, you called and you asked, you know, according to this woman anyway, the story is a woman called some guy and asked for free labor. And now all these other women are going fucking berserk because this presumable woman in the post situation didn't get free labor. So I'm like, you know what, man, I'm going to just walk in here and slap a few hoes around. And like, you know, you don't need to do this. What are you going to change somebody's mind? But it is a good time just to slap a few of these women around a little bit. You know, like, what, you too stupid? You can't hang your own paper towel rack? Like, hey, it's an equal country now. You go ahead and you hang your own paper towel rack. This guy doesn't owe you anything. He's just out there trying to live his best life. Why do you got to interrupt him? Why do you think you have ownership over his body? You know, just like breaking nuts. And so I'm breaking nuts. And some woman DMs me. Like, one of these broads, like, legit DMs me. And I'm reading this shit, and it's like ludicrously polite, you know, the way that they do, right? Like, you know, I got life figured out. I got my shit together, and I'm so sorry that for whatever reason you have fucked your life up, and that your perspective is so bitter and sour and just ugly and venomous and toxic. And I want to understand, you know, like, where are you coming from? I think men and women should have, you know, mutually, what's the fucking, respectful. Yeah, like mutually respectful relationships. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? You know, and I look at the icon at this woman's avatar, and you know, like always, it could be anything. This could be anybody. Like, you pulled this off somebody else's fucking site like you're a giant gay Samoan dude. I don't fucking know, right? But I look and it's this pretty good looking woman, and I'm like, what the fuck ever? That could be anything. But so I click on like, let's just see who the fuck I'm talking to, and apparently it is this woman that's hitting me up because it's all just like selfies and like me and my beautiful self and my beautiful life, and you know I'm good looking, so obviously I married some guy with a good job because otherwise you'd never hear about it. Maybe she married some schnook early on and shit canned him. Who knows? Right, but yeah, here's my beautiful house and my easy fucking life, and like suddenly it just clicked to me that like this is the thing that pisses me off about like this Tucker situation and the Candace situation, and obviously this woman with her situation, is that all of these people have this very this high school girl approach to life, where they walk around thinking that bunny ears, because I remember hearing this in high school even, and it pissed me off because I already knew that this is not the way anything works, that life is what you make it. Life is just what you make it, goy. And if you're walking around on hard times, getting kicked in the balls, and things aren't going your way, that is one person's fault, and that one person is you. Your life is not what you have made it. Your life is shit because you personally made it shit. So when I look at these motherfuckers, and I look at like a fucking Tucker Carlson born with a silver spoon up his ass, with his dad already hooked in both to the government and mass media, like practically has the fucking way to success paved in fucking gold. And then I look at fucking Candace Owens. Like, what better can you be? Like, if you were going to get to pick what you came back as in your next life, and your next life was going to start in the late 90s or whatever the fuck, and you were going to get to pick, like, what's the easiest fucking road to anywhere? Halfway decent looking black woman in the 2000s. Yes, 2000s, 2010s, whatever, right? What's the easiest road to success? That. I mean, and I ain't trying to say she's fucking hot, but as your average black woman goes, she looks relatively normal, yeah? Like I said before, like the white admixture definitely comes through. So when I look at this shit, and I got to think like, wait a fucking minute, you know, just like this woman hitting me up on the fucking gram, I'm like, what do you fucking know about hard times or what you make out of your life? Like, all you did is fucking show up and maintain a pulse. Because Candace Owens don't got any hot fucking takes. Tucker Carlson could walk out there with his faggoty fucking bow tie and say whatever the fucking newspaper says. I mean, for fuck's sake, the fucking Daily Stormer situation is the perfect fucking example. Yeah, this fucking clown dick walks out there with his faggoty fucking bow tie, reads from the Daily Stormer, people are clapping their fucking hands, and now you looking like, well, where's Andrew Anglin? Where's Nick Fuentes? Oh, they're fucking relegated to the back rooms, because they ain't allowed to fucking talk, because at one point they actually said they were fucking pro-white, and they happen to be white men, so fuck them, right? So when I look at this kind of shit, and I look at some comfortable motherfuckers, this is what really heats me the fuck up. That, like, you just don't fucking know how hard some motherfuckers have had to grind it out. Now me, like, I've had considerable success. I had the job that I had in the military, which I can only say was considerably successful. Like, I had my ups and downs, right? But just to have the job, yes, success. But I'll tell you what, man, there is no fucking free pass. And I watched soul brother after soul brother get shoehorned into that shit, get free passed through about as much as they could possibly push them through. I watched fucking instructors languishing, both as a student and when I come back as an instructor, looking at motherfuckers like, dude, they want us to get this fucking guy through. And other guys are saying, like, you want that asshole behind you with a gun? Fuck no. Get that fucking guy out of here. And it was always like, oh, fucking we'll deal with him down the road. We'll deal with him down. They'll get him in the next block of training. Or once he gets to a team, he'll get shit canned. Dude, there's people in this world fucking, like, you're not living in the same fucking world, dude. You're not held to the same fucking standard. Candace Owens, not held to the same standard. Tucker Carlson, not held to the same fucking standard. So when I hear these motherfuckers, you know, like this broad on Instagram, perfect example. Life is what you make it, you know, and I think like people should just be like respectful and like put good energy into the world. Fuck off, man. You know, because, you know, you look around and for the white man, the average white person, straight white person, part of a good, decent white family, I mean, life is not what you're making it. You're going the extra fucking mile. You're busting fucking ass. There is no quota for you. There is no box to check to make sure that you get hired on at the fucking ABC Biscuit Company. It ain't fucking happening. If you happen to get a job, it was because there was absolutely no reasonable way they could possibly give it to someone else. You are far and away the most qualified motherfucker ever to come through that door. Because if you weren't, they would say, fuck you, and send you right down the road. So I think that's what gets me so fucking heated about this shit. And that kind of tied right back into, I don't know what you call it, like a little clip or a meme or some shit that I saw this morning. And it was talking about the idea that, white people will want to say, like, dude, why do I got to pursue power? I don't really care about that shit. I'm just trying to live my life. And Marcus in the chat there, he had some thoughts on that as well. And he's 100% right that, one, if you don't step in there and do something to control your own destiny, whether that's, running for city council, running for fucking Senate, running for fucking something, finding a way to have a say. If you don't do something, then somebody else will. And 9 times out of 10, that somebody else is going to be somebody that's going to want to just fuck you over. They're not going to throw straight dice. They're not going to work to level the playing field. They're going to work to take what you have, push you out, and just like a lot of the shit we see now, make it so that, like, textbooks and movies and shit, make it like you never even fucking existed. So in like a generation or two, there could very well, on current trajectory, very well be school kids who are looking at history books, looking at movies, and so far as they knew, white people didn't really do or contribute shit. They're just this occasional little minority that pops up to, like, commit some evil or do something rotten, and they got to be beaten down by the just and equal-minded horde, and then life continues. But so far as they'll know, white people, they barely ever even existed. They were never even here, right? And I guess to kind of put a finer point on it is this situation with this return to the land thing, this thing happening in Arkansas, where it's a handful of white people that are trying to put together a spot to live like a pro-white community, just for white people. Yeah, man, it's for us, right? You go over here and do your thing. And what appears to have happened is, like, everybody and their mother went fucking batshit. And what really struck me about this was that you could have, like little Mexican communities, all black communities. You can have Little Tokyo. You can have Chinatown. You can have all Jewish communities. But you have one, hey, we're fucking European ancestry community. This is a white community. Fuck you. They're going to go fucking bananas. And bananas, they did go. And I guess the wild part about it to me was when I found out that this was 20 fucking people. This was only 20 people. This is not like 100 people. It's just like when they took in, like, 49 refugees from South Africa. People went fucking nuts. So now you look at this and it's 20 people. Yeah, man, it's just a fucking white place for white people. Oh my God! And they're going fucking bananas. And what really caught my eye, I guess really gets my attention, is the idea that it ain't that it's 20 people. And it ain't that you genuinely believe that these people are going to get together and start the Third Reich. And it isn't that 20 people is a legitimate inroad to, oh my God, it's going to be white supremacist fucking segregation, new South Africa tomorrow. Nobody genuinely believes that. Nobody with half a fucking brain in their head anyways genuinely believes that. I think, for my money, the big to-do, the big fly in the ointment, stems from the fact that many of these brownoids, and these Hebrews in particular, they make their living off of your work. They are, by every definition, a parasite. You work, they benefit. You bust ass, they find a way to show up and say, hey, maybe I can get a little bit of that. Can I have that? But here, you've got 20 white people, 20 able-bodied white people who are not in any way contributing to the well-being of the Hebrew community or to the colored, unwashed horde. They're not doing anything for them. So you could see where that would rub them the wrong way. Like, you're actively robbing them of their livelihood. You're denying them their sustenance. They depend on you. They depend entirely on you. This is why they follow us from city to city. Because without us, they starve. Without you, they will fucking wither and die. That's the reason that Africa has the largest growing population on the planet. Because of the Gibbs, because of you. It's not because they're so resourceful. Jesus. She was stacked. It's not because they're so resourceful. It's not because they're so ingenious. It's not because their medical system is tip top and they just, they reproduce like fucking rabbits and the farms are just sprawling and these brilliant Negroes, they're coming up with all this stuff. And I mean, infant mortality in Africa, I mean, it's 0.1, and that point one is just, assuming on the off chance something bad happens, car accident or something. But these Africans, no, motherfucker. It's because they are parasites. It's because they are robbing you blind and you are letting them. So when I think of it that way, and I kind of, go back to this discussion on power, I think it's the white mindset that, man, I don't have to be in power. I do what I do. If I feel like I'm a guy that should be in charge, then I'll step up and take charge. But otherwise, somebody will do it. Somebody will steer this thing. There's probably somebody that wants to, that's, an old dude that can't do anything else. Okay, let that guy be in charge. Let that guy run shit for a while. If things get super fucked up and I see what's wrong, I'll step in and say something about it. Otherwise, it's not a big deal. And what are they going to do? They're going to fucking rob me blind? They're going to rip me off? Or are they going to send my kid to an all-black school? No, they're not going to do that. But now, when you take that attitude and you just kind of let things go, because as white people, and I've said this for a while, white people can thrive under any system, whether it's a monarchy, a democracy, national socialism, straight socialism. I mean, dude, try any of these fucking African countries that you see that run like a communist system. I mean, that shit is on its ass. Like, just completely bottomed out. But then you look at like white people, I mean, granted, even though they're Slavic, when they're running a straight communist system, what do you get? In that instance, you do still at least get a space program, right? So when I look at this, man, I got to think like, well, yeah, you got to take charge, because if you don't, these motherfuckers will get in there and they will rob you blind. We see it again and again. So even though it kind of goes against our nature to like, yeah, man, I got to force my way in here and make sure I'm in charge and not any of these fucking brownoids or any of these fucking nose goblins. I don't want to do it. But the fact is, man, I think if the space is there, like, you have to do it. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to your people. You owe it to your family if you have one. And if you don't, you should. But you owe, long and short. So it's like you got to fucking do it. And, on that, I have been, I had talked to a couple guys a little while ago, and I think I'm going to revisit that, seeing if I could shoehorn myself in. And by the time, if that ever comes to pass, I'll have deleted this shit long ago, hopefully. But what I'm actually thinking of is looking at maybe the Democratic Party. And, I know that when you look at their platform, it is essentially like, we want to focus on the benefit of black and brown and butt fuckers and trannies and genuine psychopaths, basically. And we want to focus on their well-being. And I really would like to try my hand and see if, because obviously these are not rocket scientists, man. These are not fucking smart people. But I do wonder if there's a way that they can be schmoove talked, where you say like, look, yeah, I care about your well-being too. And the first way that we're going to look after you, the first way that we could actually afford to use government funding to subsidize medical care for everybody, including you, is number one, we stop paying for fucking Israel. Number two, we stop paying for everybody else. We stop paying people to not notice Israel, because we do that too. Our biggest expense is Israel. Our second biggest expense is paying people to pretend they don't see what Israel is doing. Right now, I think people would go with that. I think if you just ran a candidate that says, hey, you know what, all this other shit, we can figure out a way to pay for it. You tell me what you want, we'll figure out how to pay for it. But number one, we're going to stop wasting money on a state that's committing genocide. I think people would go with it. who the fuck knows? They might not, because they're like, you're white and I don't care what you say. I'm not going to vote for you. Probably white women would be the most difficult to deal with. Black women, actually, I'm willing to bet that they'd be like, yeah, baby, you go, baby. I don't know, who the fuck knows, right? But it would be interesting to see. But another part of this, though, is that, when you're talking about, like, white people getting involved, like, you need to get involved. You need to be aware of how bad these people want you to just lay down, just relax, just do nothing. I actually listened to something the other day that was, man, it was fucking disturbing, dude. It was a podcast done by some former special ops dudes, some dudes that I personally know, and they have another guy on that I personally know, and he's talking about some of his experiences, because everybody's got like these wacky experiences, and like the way this dude put it actually was pretty succinct. He says almost everybody in this job has some kind of a fucked up origin story, where you were doing this, you were doing that, whatever, your folks got killed, you got left on a desert island, something fucking crazy. You grew up in a cult, some kind of shit. Everybody's got like this wacky origin story, me included, but I ain't going to tell you mine. But they got this guy on there, and this guy is talking about how he did his deployments, he did all this shit, and he had a lot of stress. I don't know, what would you say? Just fucking high, the stress that comes with that shit, man. And I honestly think a lot of dudes that do that shit, like any kind of soldiering, man, any kind of military shit, where you go over here and you see some dodgy shit, you do some dodgy shit, you realize that you pissed away a huge portion of your life serving people that give no fucks about you for nickels. When you can't quite get your head around it, because you won't quite admit that, like, yeah, I got trick fucked. I was doing this for an occupied government in the interest of a foreign government, of a very, very foreign and parasitic government. One, guys either don't get told that, or two, you kind of get an inkling of it, but guys will deny it. And like the copium, I don't know, what would you call it? It's like a copium hangover, man. And it's a hangover that doesn't end. And it gets worse and fucking worse and fucking worse. And you're asking yourself, like, why did I do that? Why is this like that? Why is my friend dead? All of this shit. And you're thinking of all these fucking reasons, but you'll never think of the one fucking reason, because we got bullshitted. We got lied to. I got hustled. I got conned. It's all right to get trick fucked, man. When you come as an honest person and somebody trick fucks you, and it's like, yeah, bro, I'm an honest person too, bro. And here's what I need you to do, bro. And this is going to do the good thing for both of us, bro. Yeah, bro, this is in everybody's interest. Trust me, bro. And now you go out here and you just get fucked straight in the ass. And it's like, ha, fuck you. Yeah, I got mine. You got fucked good, didn't you? Hey, get the fuck out of here. I'll call you an extremist and have you locked up. Like, that's the long and short of it. And there's no real shame in it. Nobody told you when you're 18, 19. You don't know any fucking better. But so you go out here, you get trick fucked, you get put in this fucking position, you come back, your life's a fucking shambles. And instead of looking at it, and like I have, honestly, and I don't want to toot my own horn too fucking hard, but look at it honestly and say, all right, dude, what is going on? What is the honest situation here? And I'll tell you what, man, when I see something different, like I've said 1,000 times, show me something different and I'll believe something different. But until then, I proceed as I have, and things make sense. Everything makes sense now. Yeah? But these poor fuckers, they come back. So this guy now, he's talking about he's back. He does all these fucking deployments. A couple of our friends died. He talked about a few guys that were dead, guys that I knew as well. And one guy, his motherfucker died of a heart attack. I don't know. He wasn't older than me, man, and he didn't take super good care of himself, but I mean, he wasn't in fucking heart attack territory, so I don't know if he got stuck with that fucking jab or what, man, but like a few guys that were dead, and he was talking about he was pretty bummed out about it, and he had been drinking a lot, and his wife, he was real angry, I guess, and his wife got to the point of like, you got to fucking do something or I'm fucking out. So he's talking about he gets into this psychedelic shit. And this is, like, I had heard this talk before, and I've talked to a lot of guys who have done this shit. Let me preface this shit. Well, let me preface one by saying I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not any of this shit. But I'll tell you this. Don't do that shit. Don't fucking do that shit. I've talked to a grip of dudes who have done this shit. I've talked to a few guys that are like, oh, it's the greatest thing ever. I feel fucking great. I feel at one with the universe. I understand myself. I understand my place in eternity or whatever the fuck. I've also talked to a few guys that were talking about like, oh, you got to fight the demon, bro. You got to go there and you got to fight the demon. Either that or you got to do enough of these drugs to just give into it. Like you're powerless against it. You just have to surrender to it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not so sure I'm too keen on that. I know one guy that something kind of stayed with him, whatever that demonic feel is. And I'm going to say it's like, it's a demon, bro. I don't know nothing about that. Maybe, maybe not. But whatever it was real to this guy, and he ended up punching his own ticket. So for one, I say don't do that shit. But for two, if it's bullshit, all you're really doing is you're getting into the fucking, whatever it is, 91X folder in your fucking brain, you know, like that fucking folder in your hard drive that's like, it's there, but don't fuck with it, dude. Don't put your fingers in there. You're going to have to take it to fucking Geek Squad and get them to unfuck that thing. So don't fuck around in that folder. But if this is all bullshit and this is all just hallucinations and madness and whatever, and you're just fucking around in your own brain, all right, well, you kind of answer your own question there. You're making yourself hallucinate, like really powerful hallucinations. And apparently this shit gets into some pretty deep-seated memories and some fucked up shit. Like this guy's talking about his wife. Him and his wife were doing this tripping shit together. And how like some of these dudes that we both knew. So what's fucked up is like this guy's saying that like he married this woman after he already got out of the military, but that she didn't know anything about like any of the lingo or any of the like the way that we would refer to things or to each other or whatever. And then like they started doing this trip shit together, and now she's hearing these voices and like from this dude that like we both knew, that I knew as well. And like, yeah, he was coming to me and he was saying like this, and he was saying like my brothers, and he was saying, he was referring to these people as like in a way that we would only refer to each other. And he's like, yeah, she never heard any of that before. So like totally it was real, bro. And then I stopped and I thought about it for a second, and I was like, wait, the guy that you're talking about, the dead guy that he's talking about, like this motherfucker was like a walking fucking billboard. And apparently she knew him because she had done some kind of work, like some kind of office work for him at some point. I'm like, so wait a minute. So you're saying that you worked for this motherfucker for however long, an undisclosed amount of time, where you, whoever, at least knew his fucking name, but you had never heard, you're saying, never heard any of these terms that you're throwing around to indicate that like, well, yeah, this was real. It's from the spirit world, bro. I'm like, so one, you're off your fucking nut already, dude. Obviously, this woman had heard these terms before. If she worked around this fucking guy at all, I knew this guy fucking personally. And he was always talking like this. He's like a fucking ad, dude. I hear this and I'm like, all right, so it sounds like, you know, yeah, you just kind of got in your own head. But on the other side of that is, if this is real and the genuine shit, okay, well now what? You're like opening yourself up to some fucking spiritual astral plane that you're not completely suited to deal with. You're just some fucking dingbat wandering into, you know, again, pretending or assuming this is real. I don't know that it is or isn't. I'm just, you know, hypothesizing over here. But suppose all this shit is real then. Now you walk in here and now you're like, hey, I'm here. What's up? You know, and I don't know if you've seen or heard any of this year. People talk about like the elves, and the elves talk to you and all this shit, and you see your whole life and all this crazy shit, right? So if that's all real, like you're walking in completely unprepared. You don't know what any of these entities or any of this shit, what might they do to you? Who the fuck knows? So what the fuck are you doing here? Either way, this is a bad fucking idea, man. You're fucking around with something that you do not completely understand. Just because what? Because some fucking tribal screwball people are doing it in a fucking teepee someplace? Man, fuck that. But either way, what I see is that the result of this shit is that people come back and they're completely fucking ineffective. You are a fucking, just kind of a fucking hippie, man. Whether, you know, and whether you come back as like even more paranoid because now you think the demons are after you, or you come back as like this fucking guy, just this fucking hippie talking about like, bro, you got to schedule your trips, bro. You know, like get your loved one and just lock yourself away, bro, and do like a healthy dose, man. You know, and just like meld with, man, fuck you. All right. So either you're even more of a fucking schizo than you were before. Or you're this fucking hippie and you're just fine, like, oh, bro, like, my place in the universe, bro. Like, I'm not going to be trying to take charge of nothing. Who do you think that suits? Who do you think benefits from that? So instead of all that shit, like, the question obviously then, I guess, is like, one, well, coffee then, if I'm spun up, what the fuck do I do? Bro, when you find yourself in the bottom of a hole, step one, stop fucking digging, all right? Don't make shit worse. All right, so if you've been doing some shit, whether that's working for the government or shit in your personal life, what the fuck ever, and it's not fucking working, and things only seem to be getting worse, one, stop what you're doing. So if you've been humping it for the man, right, you're out there for Uncle Sam, burning down people's houses and all this kind of shit, one, stop doing that shit. Two, come to grips with the truth. In my case, like, the sad truth is, like, yeah, dude, I was just a henchman. I was beating the shit out of people who never did anything to me, who were really just defending their own homeland against some oversized white motherfucker coming through the door all hours, breaking things, knocking down the furniture. It is what it is, dude. And honestly, even when I was there, I told guys that I rolled up, like, look, man, I respect you. I would fight me too. You know, somebody shows up at my fucking door. As it is, dude, I got to roll you up. If you're fucking hiding rockets or some shit in your house, you might do some time. But hey, like, don't get it twisted, dude. I respect you. And I got a lot of good feedback off of that. Like, they're like, yeah, I understand, man. It's cool. Not like it's cool, but I mean, it is what it is. So coming to terms with the truth, man, just in terms of that and in terms of the larger picture, that if these motherfuckers want you high, they want you some kind of fucking eternity connected fucking hippie, why do you think that might be? Yeah? For as hard as they push on, we got to get people into positions of power, we got to spend money to knock out the people we don't like, we got to gerrymander these fucking communities, we got to make sure these white people are marginalized at every fucking turn. Why do you think that is? Because the reasonable thing, the thing that the future depends on, isn't you being in power? No, man, they want you fucking helpless. They want you harmless. They want you quiet. They want you stoned. They want you broke. They want you broken. So knowing that that's what they want, why the fuck would you keep giving them, again, the same kind of compliance that got you into the spot that you're in now? That's fucking nuts, dude. What are you going to be like when you're 65, when you're 70? And all your fucking neighbors are like Ethiopian or Somalian or some shit, and they're beating the fuck out of your grandkids or some shit, and like, give me your lunch money. What are you going to do now, man? You going to tell your fucking grandkids, like, yeah, just take an acid trip. You won't mind so much. Fuck that. So that's my take on it, man, is that in that sense, I guess it would be like, not so much tomorrow is what you make it, but maybe tomorrow is what you force it to fucking be. So with that, I'll leave you to it, man. Once again, shout out to Above Time Coffee. Get your pro-white Above Time Coffee at AboveTimeCoffee.com. They don't pay me. I just shill. And you can check out the scene at the Apple and the Spotify and all that, or on the Telegram, direct from the source at t.me/The Abuse Hour, or Associated Chat, t.me/Rant Room. Very good scene. So, until next time, keep your eyes on the horizon. Keep your neck out of the noose. I have been Coffee. These are my takes.